Sports' Super Bowl week is unlike any other. It consists of 5 days of press conferences, interviews, announcements, and training for the two teams. On Saturday, everyone can finally breathe a sigh of relief after game plans are finished and kickoff is just 1 day away. Now, a little preface for the story of Barret Robbins. Now, when this did happen, the game plans were actually finished, but the coach at the time for the Oakland Raiders decided that he would change the game plans a day before the Super Bowl. And Barret Robbins didn't agree with that. And Barret Robbins was the center for the Oakland Raiders at the time of the 2003 Super Bowl XXXVII. And, the centers do the play call. So once the game plan is changed, he has to, make sure everything is changed as well, which he was not happy with. Now, the night before Super Bowl XXXVII in San Diego, which pitted his Oakland Raiders against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was time to get wasted for Barret Robbins. Now, the Pro Bowl center stepped out of bed early on Saturday and immediately started waging war with himself after sticking to his 11 p.m. curfew on Friday night. He ultimately fell to such emotional lows that he was unable to fend off his demons after losing every battle. Robbins, who has been diagnosed with depression nearly a decade earlier while attending TCU, he awoke early that morning, hopped into a car with men he barely knew, and drove away from the team hotel, the La Jolla Hyatt. Now, he was unable to attend the team breakfast, mainly because once he did go with the men on Friday into his car, the men took some alcohol from the hotel, like the bar section of the hotel, inside the room service thing, and they left and then went down to Mexico to party there. Now, when Barret Robbins was there, the party then went into the morning. So that Saturday morning, he was there partying still. So he wasn't there for the team breakfast, which did worry some teammates. His colleagues were perplexed. He also skipped the team's final afternoon walkthrough, and right tackle Barry Sims explains in a podcast, we went on the bus and waited for a bit, but we couldn't locate him. And it was very strange to be conducting walkthroughs while also missing our buddy. Our Pro Bowl center is missing. Now, the Raiders were clueless and even questioned whether Robbins had been abducted. Bruce Allen, the team's executive, recalled being concerned for Barret Robbins' life and alerting the NFL, which got in touch with local law authorities. Robbins was far away and so engrossed in his binge of excess that he hardly recognized him. Allen remembers, in a quote here, he had informed me he was excited about the fact that we had won the game, and he asked to catch a plane the next morning for the Pro Bowl. And this Pro Bowl was in Honolulu, so he asked for, basically a plane ride to Honolulu because, in multiple interviews that I've seen with Barret Robbins, he's said over and over again, or it's been said that he believed that, the Raiders won the Super Bowl, because he was just so out of it, when, he was partying and drinking and everything, that, he just thought that they had won the Super Bowl already, and that's why he was celebrating, and so that's why, and he was going to the Pro Bowl that year, so that's why he asked for the flight, to Honolulu. Now, we had left the doctor, which is, Robert Albo, who was the team doctor at the time. This is still the quote from Allen. And he was worried, and the doctor was correct because Barret later told me everything, he, drank and did. And in a quote by Allen again, he said, "Oh my goodness." And I thought Albo quickly realized Robbins was intoxicated, but he didn't know how badly he was intoxicated, or whether it was due to alcohol alone or a combination of drugs as well. Robbins' game status was changed from questionable to out by head coach Bill Callahan. Now, Albo admitted Robbins to the hospital for observation after examining him all night and into the morning. Robbins was admitted to an undisclosed hospital on Super Bowl Sunday, and his teammates were definitely upset. They didn't really have the best game in the Super Bowl. They lost 48-21 against the Buccaneers. And, while, his team's playing in the Super Bowl, he's being admitted into a hospital here. And, he, in multiple interviews, he said that he apologized to the team leaders and he apologized to the entire team, because he did still keep a spot on the Raiders after this entire incident, the next season. And I think the hospital was, the right place to put him at that time. And Robbins, before this, had multiple, manic episodes, is what he calls it. And, he can't really remember once he is in these manic episodes. And I believe during his hospital visit after the Super Bowl, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So, that was something that he was dealing with at the time, and was mainly the reasons of his manic episodes that he did have. And he still kept a spot on the team. He's still a very good center. It wasn't like he was like a bad player or anything. It's just he was just dealing with some mental issues, and that's really why it was just such a big deal. Though he did go back on the team the very next season, but he was later found with, I believe, taking steroids along with other members of the team. So he was dropped after that. And then after his stint with the Raiders, he's had multiple run-ins with the law, assault on a police officer, I believe, later down the road, when he was, caught in, basically breaking into a store but trespassing, and then, the police, he attacked the police were shooting at him, so he was arrested for that, and then he was also arrested for battery, and then, I believe battery, and then he was also arrested for finding illegal substances, with him, just recently, so he's in jail for that currently. So definitely a rabbit hole with Barret Robbins. And this wasn't his first time either. I believe before that he did have one in an AFC championship game against either the Broncos or I believe the Broncos. It was a matchup with the Broncos. I believe he just went on the plane and then just stayed in Denver. And didn't go anywhere else, so that he didn't travel with the team at all for that one. Still kept a position on the team. And then, it wasn't really the best, situation, I believe, for Barret Robbins. He said multiple times that, he's not coherent in these manic episodes, so that's why he doesn't really ask for help, during those situations. And, this has possibly caused him to do, more of the, illegal actions that he has taken over the course of his, career, or over the course of his lifetime after the NFL. But it is definitely interesting to look at the story of Barret Robbins, because it's, I feel like not a lot of NFL fans really know about it, especially new ones, because obviously it happened a long time ago. I wasn't even born yet by the time this event actually happened, and I hadn't really known until I, was doing more research on my own. But it's definitely a really interesting story about how, it brings more humanity to an NFL player, because, again, they're dealing with their own things, their own lives. And mental health really isn't something that wasn't talked about in the early 2000s in the NFL, but even more so now. It's being talked about now, but again, not really as openly, or players even get criticized, for dealing with their own mental issues. So I think this one was a really interesting story. didn't come out, on the right side, or like, the good side at the end of it, since he is currently arrested, I believe. But it does shed some light and bring, some more character to these NFL players, because I feel like, after now the situation with Damar Hamlin, I feel like more NFL players should be taken, as more people than, just these gladiators here for our entertainment. They're dealing with their own issues once again, and they're dealing with their own mental health. And, it's just kind of things like this where it kind of gets out of hand for, the player, and now they're facing scrutiny. I mean, I've seen multiple interviews about Barret Robbins from other players, and people are laughing at the situation, which, I mean, clearly it's not the best situation, but I mean, it's nothing, to laugh at, really. It's a serious situation, and it, just got out of hand for Barret Robbins in this situation. But I do feel that the way the NFL is trending with mental health, I think that's really good. And I just thought I'd share the story to bring more light on it. And that'll be all for this short little video here. I just thought I'd put it together, especially in light of the situation. I felt that, speaking on another past situation with players' mental health, I think that it's good to shine more light on that, amidst everything that's going on. But I do hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching all the way through. Make sure you guys go ahead down below, leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and as well as share the video with anybody that you think may want to listen to this. But again, that'll be all. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.